First category, compost and compost-based products that have humus. Second category, ground up rock materials that have trace minerals, have this low-level energy, help loosen the soil, all those kinds of things. The third major category is sugar. This is the one that took me the longest to learn how to use correctly, and I'm still learning. The first sugar we ever used was cornmeal, and cornmeal you'd say it's not sugar, Howard. Well, it kind of is, because cornmeal converts to sugar more efficiently than anything in the world. It's why it's so fattening to eat it. It's why we use it in the stock yards to fatten cattle. It's extremely effective in converting over to sugar. So we started playing with it, and what Logan is doing there, and that's one of the last times I think she helped me in the garden. She's mixing molasses with wheat, midlands, and corn. And we played around with a lot of different things. But cornmeal became a very important tool for us. And the reason for that is that the way it all came about, I was speaking one day to a little herb festival over in the Stephenville, Texas area. And I was railing against the universities as I'm prone to do, and I was particularly hard on A&M that day, which is who I butt heads with the most. And at the end of my talk, here comes a guy walking up to me, and he's got a maroon cap in his hand, great big white letters on it, and he says, "Here, this is for you." He said, "I'm Dr. John McFarland at the A&M Research Station in Stephenville. I'm totally organic at home. I'm totally organic with the research station. When are you going to start giving us a break?" And I said, "Well, how about right now?" We became friends. He's the one that told me about the fact that they had discovered, just through pure serendipity, that cornmeal would shut down disease organisms, and specifically rhizoctonia. And they discovered it because they were doing trials with peanut crops. That was their main research is peanuts. And in the rotation in the fields, one of the really observant researchers noticed that when the peanut crop followed the corn planting in rotation, they did not have this rhizoctonia problem that had become an issue in peanuts. And he said they started researching it in the lab. They isolated it to be cornmeal stimulating a microorganism called trichoderma. Trichoderma is a beneficial fungus that would attack and kill, did attack and kill rhizoctonia. That's what was going on. They figured it out. He was telling me all this stuff, and he saw my eyes getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And he said, "Howard, I don't want you going on the radio and telling people that this will cure brown patch and St. Augustine grass." He could read my mind. He knew exactly what I was thinking. And I said, "Okay, fine." That weekend, I told about 40,000 people what I had learned. And I said, give me some feedback on this. Try it on the brown patch. Brown patch had become, at that time, a pretty big problem in the turf. And they tried it, and sure enough, it knocked it out. It knocked it out quick, too. Grass would green up right away. Well, we started experimenting with it on Photinia, saving various plants that were in deep trouble from fungus disease. We used it on roses. We had great success in shutting down black spot on roses and powdery mildew, various things. We mixed it with water and made a tea out of it. We sprayed it on plants. We started using it in all kinds of ways. One of the things that jumped out at us real quick was this. Anybody that is a grower of plants in flats, small plants from seed, and starting out with young plants, will deal with this disease at some time or another if you're not organic. That's camping off disease. With the cornmeal and with these other seed bed recommendations that we now learn about and recommend, that's a thing of the past. You just won't have to deal with that issue anymore. That's laughing, by the way. This is the greenhouse at the research station where Dr. McFarland came up and gave me a hard time. That's his collection, which is, I hope it's still there. I haven't talked to him for a long time, of peanut collections from all over the world. 100% organic greenhouse operation. Joe McFarland is no longer with A&M. He took early retirement, which was a little mysterious, and no one has continued this work. If you call A&M today and ask them about using cornmeal as a disease fighter, they'll tell you they don't know what you're talking about. Or they'll say, oh, it's a crazy guy, Howard Garrett in Dallas. So another, again, the big wall that we butt up against all the time. They came up with the technology and now deny it. Couldn't figure out how to make any money out of it, I guess. I don't know. We've come up with all kinds of techniques that help with a lot of them. On the disease control front, the one thing, and we'll talk more about this in detail tomorrow, this is a soap that was recommended to me that I have tried on a lot of cases now. If you have something fire up that's a disease, whether it's pythium, rhizoctonium, fusarium, bacterial diseases, just basically anything that we've run into so far, this is a fancy soap is all it is. It's sold under the name Plant Wash. It's the first one that we helped bring to the Texas area, and it's available through our website and through the manufacturer under this name, BioWash. It's just incredible. It not only knocks down diseases, but also minor insect problems as they're just getting started. And we're seeing increased growth in the plant for some reason, probably because we're just cleaning up the plant's tissue. Now, that's the basic program, really. We use compost, we use rocks, we use sugars, we use very simple disease control tools, and we'll talk about other disease and insect control things for you. But the final step of the organic program is to mulch the soil. And we've recommended a lot of different mulches in the past. I used to recommend pine bark. Now, I tell people that pine bark as a mulch is the worst choice you can make, by far. Second worst choice, in my opinion, is cypress. Those are the two most commonly sold mulches. And there's a whole bunch of reasons that I don't recommend them. The main reason is they don't work very well compared to the alternatives. The best mulch, on the other end of the spectrum for you, is ground up tree trimmings that come off of the property where you're going to use the mulch. That's the best, by far. Recycle, just like Mother Nature does in the forest and on the trees. If you have to buy mulch, it's hard to beat this stuff. This is ground up native tree trimmings in my area, but it's cedar. It's 100% cedar. The cedar not only functions great as a mulch, breaks down beautifully, turns into humus, does what we want it to do, as opposed to cypress. Cypress does not do that. But it also has a fragrance that runs off insects very, very